In this section, we'll be learning about how do you choose a particular blockchain type for your project, or maybe what is the decision metrics chart for selecting a particular blockchain network. So here we define the public and private on the y-axis and closed and open on the x-axis. Let's look at the first combination, which is private closed. Who should be using the private closed environment? Like construction companies, where the updates are happening between the suppliers or the construction company and probably their limited customers. Not in general, like if you bought a flat, maybe a apartment or maybe villa, you have to check the status of that particular status. Not in general, like not anybody will be going to see what is the construction status of your flat. It's very restricted. So that's why it should be in the public closed. And some of the national defense projects, very secure projects, so it should be controlled in the public, in the private and closed environments. And also law enforcement, again, those wherever the data is critical and it should be more secure, it will be moving into private closed. Also the military applications, if the military is developing a decentralized applications, they will be 100% in private closed environments. And also maybe the tax returns, though the transparency has to be there in the tax returns, not everybody should be able to look at my tax return data. It has to be private closed. So these are some of the types of application to be designed or developed in the private closed environment. And looking at the private open supply chain, let's say you wanted to track a goods from the farm to the shop to the consumers. You wanted to see how the data is flowing, though the people who are writing the data is private, not everybody is writing, but you should be open to read it. Now I wanted to see on what date this particular product is designed, developed, and which factory designed it, or maybe in which farm the produce is developed. Or maybe let's say if you're buying a fruit, you wanted to, for example, let's say you want to buy a fruit, a mango, and you wanted to know where the mango coming from. So that is a read access, right? So that is coming into supply chain, into private open. And also the government financial records. Now we wanted to see what government is spending on, though the writing is happening by the governments, but user should be able to read the data. So that will be part of a private open. And also corporate earning statements. Now in most of the companies, the earning statements are very secure. They don't expose that information to the general publics. But if you wanted to see how the company is performing, I should be able to see the data. So that will be moving into private and open blockchain applications. So these are the typical types of projects which are designed and developed using private open blockchain environment or applications. Private open blockchain environments or blockchain platform. Coming to public and closed voting, because we have to write a particular condition here, because you're voting, so you're writing something, and the results should be displayed, but results cannot be edited, right? So you're contributing some level of interaction here, where the data is, you're writing the data, but some of the contributors, why it say closed is not everybody should be able to read a lot of information. Let's say only the voting authority should be able to read the entire data. Though you are contributing, you can look at the results, but not the entire results of who voted for how many times and things like that. It's private to you, but at the same time the transparency is there in the voting process. And also the voting records will be in the public environment. Anybody should be able to write, and only certain people should be able to read the data. And some of the whistleblowing projects should be in the public closed blockchain type or blockchain environment. Coming to public and open blockchain networks, most of the cryptocurrencies now are public open, because you're able to write the data, you're able to read the data. So and some of the betting applications, some of the video games, or in general most of the public applications where the transaction is happening between you and the other person, and you're writing a record, you're reading a record. Those are ideal fit for public and open blockchain type or blockchain environment. So this is a decision matrix for you to select a particular blockchain type. So maybe if you're getting into a project management, maybe architecture, if the interviewer asks, what kind of a blockchain network or blockchain platform do you recommend for this project? So you have to ask yourself, who is going to read the data and who is going to write the data, and based on that you select the appropriate blockchain environment or blockchain platform. So I hope this decision matrix will help you in making the right decisions, whether you're a developer, a quality engineer, but especially if you're like coming to quality engineers. If your project says no, only certain people can read and certain people can write, you probably, this is a use case or maybe test case. Are you following the this type of, are you using the right type of blockchain environment? Similar to that, maybe a BA should be able to determine what is the ideal type of blockchain for that particular project. So it's a collective decisions. Everybody should be knowing the types of blockchain for their own work. So I hope now you have a clarity on the type of blockchains and the decision metrics for you to select a particular project or maybe particular environment for your project.